Okay, so I am going to be reacting or watching UFC 214, Cormier versus Jones 2. Um, I watched this live when it happened, but again, I didn't have a computer to stream. I wasn't streaming, which is unfortunate because I wish I had my takes on those events when it happened. So I'm going to watch this right here now, and we're going to react to it. And that's uh yeah, whatever. I love this fight when it happened. I waited years for this. Like after UFC 200, I had to wait fucking years for this. I'm hearing this happen like it was yesterday. Uppercut the mouthpiece out. Um, that wrestling. Look, see, look, John took him down, and DC was able to defend it and get back up. He learned from the last fight. He learned from the last fight with that. See, look, John's working the body already on. John just looks so big, like tall compared to DC. Like he looks like he's just so much taller. It's like you can see it. Like it's crazy. You can see it. Even DC said that before. Like when you can see like them when they're fighting, like he's just so much taller. What's his name? He just said just now. He just said he has much longer reach than most in the 99% of the heavyweights, which is true. John Hank said. Big John McCarthy. John just fucking like clinched up with him and like shoved him. He just went, he did the headlock and shoved him. That was fucking cool looking. Went for the knee to the body. God, John was just so good back then. This is John in his prime. I believe this. This is 100% his prime. First, this is like his prime fight. This is when he was in his prime. Like he was absolutely in his prime here. Like he was in his prime back then. Like he was in his prime. Steroids or not, he was in his prime back then. I do think John, like, with the steroids and all that, I do believe he was on steroids in this fight. Um, it's true that steroids can't get you a higher fight IQ, but at the same time, they make your strikes more effective. They give you a better stamina. They give you better energy. All that stuff. All that. So He absolutely had an advantage in this fight. Not just not to mention his physical advantages. So DC caught him. It was good. He caught him. Man, if DC was if this was heavyweight and John was on steroids, I believe John would. I mean, DC could have beat him. It's a shame we're never gonna see that fight, but the heavyweight fight. They were talking about that in 2019, but we're never gonna get it, unfortunately. Let me look at the stats here. Sure. Um, he didn't outland DC. That's bullshit. DC won that first round. DC won that first round. He didn't outstruck him by much. That's a pretty close first round. He only outstruck him by like 4 strikes. That that first round's up for debate. By the stats, I think John won these next two rounds. Wait, no. If it wasn't, yeah, yeah, John won the next two rounds, and I think the first is up for the debate. The thing is, though, DC lost his confidence with the wrestling, so he didn't try it in this fight. So he was going crazy, and he was trying to strike with John, which was not a good idea. I don't think DC's a better striker than John Jones, and he shouldn't have went that game plan. He should have. I feel like he should have did more with the wrestle. Tried more. John wrestled one of these Olympic wrestlers recently, and he said John said in his own words he got destroyed by him. So, like DC could have out wrestled him, and I don't understand why he didn't. I don't know. DC's taunting him right now. Wait, we rewatch that. DC knocked him. No, wait. Yeah. DC pushed him to the ground, and John tried to, like, take advantage, like, reversed it, try to, like, take advantage, but then they went back to the feet. DC almost got a takedown there if he would have fucking. Why is DC attempting the head kicks with John Jones? I don't understand that. DC should went with quenching or something. Like, striking is not a good idea when you're fighting John Jones in 2017. Especially with fucking rolling up John Jones. Oh god. By the stats, I think John won that round, but it kind of looks like DC was doing good. But I mean, let me look at this. That second round's more competitive than I thought it was. DC didn't. No. DC thrown more strikes. John is pretty hard to hit, so DC thrown more strikes, but 40% of them landed. John threw 47 strikes. 47 strikes, 63% of them landed. I think John won that second round, and he obviously won the third because he knocked him out. So DC didn't really try fucking that many strikes in the third. I remember when this fight was happening. While I was watching it live, I was texting Nash just like bragging how John was losing, which look at the stats, he wasn't. Uh, I don't know. That's up for that. I see a lot of judges. They don't really go off that. So who knows who would have won this with the decision. But I remember bragging that John was losing, and then like as soon as I sent the text, like the sent, I was doing Xbox. We're doing Xbox text messages back then, by the way. As soon as I hit sent, fucking John head kicked him and fucking brutally knocked him out, which we'll get to in a minute. Brutally knocked him. All right, here it is. Hit him fucking on the head, wobbling. Like it's John just like fucking like stalked him down and just like hit him with a body kick, and now he's just brutally beating him. This is fucking brutal. This is the most brutal knockout I've ever seen in UFC. I don't think I've ever seen. I could be wrong. I've never seen such a brutal knockout. That was fucking brutal. Like it was brutal. That was really brutal. Like I think that's the most brutal knockout I've ever seen in UFC in MMA. I don't. I could be wrong about that, but I haven't seen something brutal as that. That was brutal. Especially when you take into fact how skilled DC actually was. I remember when John tested positive for this, I went fucking off. You can ask Nash this though, if he remembers. I went off. I went off. I was pissed. That's why I wish that shit was like filmed. That's fucking now and again. I still like it. My backup. Okay. Uh, I still love this moment. Everything you said here was true. It's never over until it's over. I mean, not over until you let it over. It's never over until you let it be over. That's the fucking truth about a lot of things. As long as you never quit, it's never over. That's the truth. I remember Rogan walked up to DC right after this and fucking put the microphone in his face. I loved how John walked up and hugged DC though. That was a beautiful moment, even though it meant nothing in the future. The funny thing is, this title reign never existed. They just repealed it and like it was never. It's like it's never existed. All right, that's it. I'm probably gonna react to some more of these fights. I'm probably gonna react to UFC 229 and UFC 232 next. I'm gonna do those two fights. The press conferences. I'll react to the Cormier versus Jones 2 press conferences. Okay. I have to call it a wrap.